In this video, I am going to show you 10 incredible push shots that will leave your opponent speechless if we execute it in a specific way. I will also show you how many attempts I had to make each shot correctly and rate the difficulty of each of them. In the first example, we have a situation where the 9 ball is frozen to the bottom short rail and the cue ball is located in the middle of the table. Although we could try to play a safety shot, there is a huge risk of leaving a possible back shot to the corner or middle pocket. In this case, you can try to execute a very creative free rail bank shot to the right middle pocket. To do this correctly, you need to hit the 9 ball with half contact and apply a bit of left-hand English. The speed of the shot is crucial because, as you can see, the cue ball always goes to the top half of the table. So in this case, if you miss the shot, the 9 ball often ends up in a very safe position after contact with the long rail, leaving your opponent in an uncomfortable situation. However, if you make a perfect contact, then the 9 ball ends up in the pocket, leaving your opponent speechless. In the following example, we encounter a very uncomfortable 8 ball situation where we have an easy 4 ball to play into the left middle pocket, but there is a big problem with the balls on the bottom side of the table. We need to make a position for the 8 ball, which is located on the bottom short rail, but the 9 ball blocks the left corner pocket, making it difficult because we can only play the 8 ball to the right corner pocket. As you can see, we have almost no angle on the 4 ball, and it would be challenging to play a huge backspin and go for the 8 ball around the table using 2 or 3 rails. However, there is one very creative and safe option, and all what we need is to slightly cheat the pocket to the left, hit the cue ball with a lot of speed and apply maximum topspin. After this shot, the cue ball will have a lot of forward rotation and after contact with the left long rail, will curve, following a path resembling a banana, ending in a perfect position for the 8 ball on the left side of the table. In the third example, we faced another 8 ball situation where we need to play the 9 ball, which is a pocket hanger, but the 4 ball blocks the left corner pocket, making it impossible to pot the 8 ball there. Of course, there is a very natural option to play the 9 ball very thin and go with the cue ball around the table using 4 or 5 rails to make the perfect position for the 8 ball to the same pocket. However, there is some risk of playing the 9 ball too thick, which can result in a scratch. This time, to leave our opponent speechless, we need to play the 9 ball with a very full contact, hit the cue ball with top left spin and apply a lot of speed to make it curve again after contact with the bottom short rail, creating a path with a banana shape to end on the left side of the table with a perfect position for the 8 ball. In the next example, we face a very uncomfortable situation where we have to play the 8 ball, but the 4 ball effectively blocks the way to the corner pocket, making it impossible to cheat the pocket to pot the 8 ball directly. However, we can play bank shot with caroom to still make this ball into the blocked corner pocket. To make this shot correctly, we need to do some calculations. In the first step, we need to find the point of the ghost ball where we need to hit the 4 ball using 8 ball. We need to draw a line between the corner pocket and the 4 ball, and another line from the 4 ball that is perpendicular to that line. After these steps, we can indicate the center point of the ghost ball, which is placed exactly on this line. In the following steps, we need to measure the distance between the center point of the ghost ball and the edge of the long rail, and move it parallel along the short rail. And this step will show us the point where we need to aim at the 8 ball to cause it to make the correct contact with the 4 ball. It is crucial to perform all actions very precisely because any small mistake in calculations can result in hitting the 4 ball in the wrong place. And now we are moving to the fifth example, which may look really familiar, right? Yes, we could see this magic shot during the greatest 8 ball runout in history by Melling, and this is a perfect way to leave our opponent speechless, because there is no chance to make any safe shot in this situation, as the 4 ball blocks the way for the 8 ball to the corner pocket. This shot is not difficult, and the key is to apply a bit of left-hand English and find the correct contact with the 8 ball, because if we play it too thin or too thick, it will come in a completely wrong direction. And these were the first 5 examples, which were not difficult to execute. And in the next part of this video, I will show you another 5 that require great precision and skill. In this situation, we need to play the 9 ball, but as you can see, it is located in a very uncomfortable place, because it is impossible to cut it into the middle pocket. Additionally, if we try to put the 9 ball into the corner pocket, we are scratching in the middle. We can still put the 9 ball into the corner pocket, but we need to hit the cue ball in a specific way. The key in this shot is to elevate our cue stick and hit the cue ball really hard. As you can see in the slow motion, the cue ball after this hit jumps and hits the back of the pocket much higher, causing it to come back on the table. This shot is not easy because we need to find the correct contact with the back of the pocket, which can sometimes result in a very funny outcomes. The next example that caused me significant problems is a situation where the 9 ball is frozen to the bottom short rail, while the cue ball is hidden behind the jaw of the corner pocket. We need to hit the cue ball on the opposite jaw of the same pocket and cause it to change its path dramatically and go towards the 9 ball. This shot is very difficult and was a big problem for me because it is very challenging to find the correct point of contact with the jaw of the pocket. But if we make a perfect hit, then we can leave our opponents speechless. And now we are jumping to the 8th example and we need to use jaw of the pocket again. As you can see, we have final 8 ball to play and the 4 ball blocks the way to hit this ball directly. And in this situation, we need to hit the cue ball on the jaw of the pocket to cause it to change its path dramatically and hit the 8 ball at the ghost ball point, putting it into the corner pocket. Practically during every attempt, I managed to hit the 8 ball, but if we find the correct contact, our opponent will be speechless for a long time.
Oh, come on!
In the 9th example, we encounter another uncomfortable 8 ball situation. We have a very easy 4 ball to play, but the main problem is that we need to make a position for the 8 ball and don't have an angle on the 4 ball to transfer the cue ball for this ball. But there is one awesome way to put the 4 ball and transfer the cue ball for the 8 ball. We need to elevate our cue stick very high and hit the cue ball with a lot of right hand English to cause it to curve slightly and hit the 4 ball at the ghost ball point. After this contact, we can see that the cue ball jumps a lot and due to the spin-induced throw factor, it goes towards the correct direction. In the slow motion, we can see that the cue ball due to heat from the elevated cue stick goes on a different surface and the applied English causes it to grab the cloth, following a very original path and ending with a perfect position for the 8 ball. For me, this shot was very difficult to execute because I needed to play from my tool, which makes big problems with the correct hit. And finally, at the end of this episode, I need to show you this very difficult 8 ball situation where the 4 ball is frozen to the 8 ball and placed in such a way that we don't have direct access to the 8 ball. We need to execute a jump shot over the 4 ball and hit the 8 ball from the top to make it into the middle pocket. The main difficulty in this shot is to find the correct trajectory of the jump shot. It took me a very long time to find the right power of this shot because, as you can see, in most cases I hit it too hard, causing me to miss the 8 ball by a very little. But when I managed to find the right contact, the joy was huge and my opponent was speechless forever. As you can see, I had a lot of fun during this video to execute every shot correctly. And if you enjoyed it, then please leave a thumbs up. And it will be great if you let me know in the comments which shot was best in your opinion. If you like my content and what I am doing here, then hit the subscribe button to be updated with videos like this. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care!